most dangerous person in the world to you is the man you're dating or the man you married?
Yo, I was on a National Geographic show as a professional survivor. See that? That's me right there. This is when we wrapped. We shot this in Colorado. There were four people. Two of these men were like army men. One of them had been in Afghanistan and he was a search and rescue, a firefighter. Okay, like hardcore survivalist. I was recruited by National Geographic to be on a show about survival, to be put through these like really crazy, weird tests to see how my brain reacted in situations like this, including some weird challenge at the end where I had to get in this barrel and get across a river. Like, it was nuts. And the reason why I got recruited to begin with was because they had heard about me. I was a storyteller, a comedian in New York and LA, but I used to be a rafter for 6 seasons in multiple states all over the West. I couch surfed and camped and climbed and worked and picked strawberries and taught English and did all kinds of crap all over South America, including climbing in Patagonia, where I hitchhiked. I met up, I was by myself for 8 months in South America, hitchhiking, wandering around, climbing, couch surfing on strangers' couches, working at a strawberry farm in Bumfork, Argentina, living in this. And by the way, I loved all of this, okay? I'm giving you context. I was a backpacking guide. I worked for Outward Bound, leading 23-day backpacking and climbing and canoeing courses with not just normal students, but literally students who hated being there. They were like angry teenagers, where I had to break up fights between teenage boys. And I had to teach them lightning position and literally had to get in lightning position. Because when you are in the wilderness and you don't have a house and you don't have a car with rubber tires, you are literally a sitting duck. And just so you know what lightning position is, it's this, okay? This, so that the lightning, if you get struck by lightning, it doesn't come up your butt and into your heart. It goes up your butt and out your legs. I mean, I kind of think the lightning position is like a bunch of crap and it's not going to work. You're going to die. But I had to learn it, I had to teach it, and I had to do it in the middle of a lightning storm. Rented this, didn't know how to drive it, figured it out, This one too, I fell over on this one on a hill. That was fun. I lived in this for over 5 years, like the back of a truck for over 5 years. And then I moved to New York, not knowing anybody, not knowing anything. And then I moved back into my truck a couple times because I missed it. And I'm a glutton for punishment. As a woman, all by myself, you can't lock that door. So I had to use bungee cords and get it really tight. So, I slept in Walmart parking lot. I slept in the middle of the woods. I slept in hotel parking lot. I have been in so many dangerous positions, y'all, partly because, trauma response, childhood trauma, adrenaline junkie, blah. I slept outside pretty much every time I went anywhere. As long as I was pretty sure a man wasn't going to come. I don't care about animals. Animals have never, ever made me scared. Just men. But this is how I slept all the time. Maybe some people call it stupid or reckless. This is what I did. Lived in this for a while. No running water. Shat in a bucket in northern New Mexico in this kind of weather. No heating, really. Like a teeny tiny, electric heater, which is actually very dangerous. I should not have done that. Was stalked all the way from Wyoming to here by an old hitchhiker man who found me. Did lots of this. This is a Tinder date. Just met this man and went away to the French Alps because I just moved to France. And he's like, let's go climbing. So I go, this is just me. This is what I do. I'm an adventurous person. I put myself in, calculated risk. There's debate about that part. Hanging off cliff walls by just a few pieces of metal. Had some close calls when I was climbing, although climbing is relatively safe, more or less. This is a schmegs club I went to here in France. Totally no clothes on, around people getting it on. That right there, that's me in Glacier National Park, right after I saw my first grizzly bear. Super close. This is me camping out in Occupy Wall Street. I don't know any of these people. I literally slept around thousands of people in New York City, where there's rats and stuff, you know? Total stranger. Felt relatively safe. This is me. That year I moved to Spain to teach English. Didn't know Spanish, which is fine. They didn't want me to, actually. They wanted me to speak English. Didn't know a single person. Had never been to Galicia. 40 years old. Just moved to another country. Did the same thing when I moved to France. Didn't know anybody, not a single person. I also moved to Sweden. This was in the airport. I could not help myself. Didn't know a single person there. Didn't know anything about the country. Didn't know anything about the town I was moving to. Why not? Hitchhiked all over Ireland too, by myself. Couldn't even afford a hostel, so I would sleep in the backyard of a hostel and ate bread with tomato and cheese every single day for months on it. Didn't know anybody, just wandered around. Got a couple marriage proposals, one from a nasty old man that I hitchhiked with. I also ended up playing games with a bunch of men I met on Craigslist when I was living in New York City. And everyone thought I was going to get unalived because I was meeting up with people on Craigslist. But I was confident I wasn't. But I did end up like making good friends there. And, you know, we took some interesting photos. This is me pretending to be a baby. There's a long story behind this. The point is that when I tell people some of these stories, they cannot believe I'm alive. Oh, I'm also narcoleptic. Literally got tested for it. Full-blown narcoleptic, which means I fall asleep so much, driving, even swimming, that I'm surprised I'm alive. Y'all, I even slept on the roof in Brooklyn. I was also in a steam pipe explosion in New York in 2008. Literally, a steam pipe exploded and swallowed a small school bus. And I was covered in asbestos and ran for my life like everyone around me. And it was terrifying and traumatizing. Okay, I got to tell y'all that story. That's how I ended up here, y'all, on National Geographic as a professional survivor. That's one reason why I was introduced in New York whenever I do stories on stage. It's like, we can't believe this woman has not died yet, right? Now, why did I just go into all that? Because the most dangerous thing out of, and that's only like a fraction of the crazy things I've done, y'all. But of everything I have ever done in my entire life that was completely reckless and dangerous, and even including jobs that were dangerous, right? First day as a raft guide in New Mexico, someone drowned in the boat in front of us, and we had to rescue them, and they didn't make it. And we had to create a Z pulley system to get their body up this side of a canyon. Okay, like, you understand the context now of what I'm about to say. The most dangerous thing I have ever done or will ever do is date a man. Because during most of those adventures, those photos, I wasn't dating anybody. I didn't have anything to do with men. And in most of those situations, because I was in touch with my intuition, and even though some of those were sketchy and maybe not as the best decisions, I was always very aware of whether or not I was in danger. And whenever I was hyper focused on how to get out of it. And nothing has ever almost ended my life, this close to ending my life. Nothing has traumatized me much, scared me as much, and made so much PTSD that even almost 10 years later, I'm still dealing with, was dating one wrong man for less than a year. That almost killed me. So don't worry about the boogeyman. Yes, take precautions. Yes, be careful. Yes, men attack us in public all the time. But the man that you should be really scared of is the one you date, the one you let in your bed, the one you let in your house, the one you let around your children. And unfortunately, can't do anything about this, but the one that you're born to, or maybe his brother or his dad. But the man you fall in love with, which is not really love usually, by the way, is the most dangerous person you will ever have in your life.